I'm going to show you how to best use your credit card in order to increase your credit score fast. Hey everyone, if you've been trying to work on your credit and you have barely been seeing any results, you need to go ahead and take a look at the workshop that I just opened up that is currently free so that you can learn where you went wrong while you were trying to work on your credit. During that lesson, you'll learn the 4 don'ts when it comes to working on your credit, the mistakes people make when writing dispute letters, why you shouldn't only dispute with the credit bureaus, and also the accounts that people waste time disputing. Not to mention, you'll get to see real results from a customer who used my methods and they were able to get their credit straightened out and bought a brand new home within 7 months. So go ahead and sign up for that training today. The link is going to be down in the bio. And while you're trying to work on your credit, you have to see all 3 of your credit reports and scores. And MyScoreIQ, a company that I use for myself and for all of my customers, has a $1 7-day trial so you can see your credit reports and scores so you can know where you stand, because you can't work on your credit without knowing what's going on all 3 reports. So please check out MyScoreIQ. The link to them is going to be down in the description as well. Hey everybody, Will Frazier here, your credit expert, bringing you the tips you need to get your credit back on track, because what goes down must come up. And if you don't want your credit score to drop 400 points right now, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of every video I drop just like this. So, you have a credit card or you're about to get one and you want to know how to best use it to increase your credit score the best and the fastest. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few tips that should help you guys out. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to mention to you is pay it on time. Don't go past the due date, and make sure that you don't go 30 days late or more than that. Most definitely, make sure you pay your payment on a due date every time. Now, will there be times that you don't pay it on the due date? Of course, there may be a few times, but I'm telling you to try not to go past that due date for a few reasons, one of them being the past due column on the account on your credit report. You definitely don't want the payment amount to show up in that past due column, because you can see a dip in your score just from that. And past due is not the same as a 30-day late payment. Past due is what you would see way before you get to 30 days late, but I'm just making you aware of that so that you don't get surprised by it. Now, of course, paying the card on time, I shouldn't have to tell you that. Everybody knows that you have to pay your accounts on time to keep your credit good. So I just want to get that easy one out of the way. Now, a top question that I get asked by people is, should I pay off my balance in full every month, or should I just make the regular monthly payments? So I tell you, you can go almost either way with that, and it kind of depends on what kind of credit card account you have. So if you pay the balance off in full, that would mean that you would have no balance and you wouldn't be getting a payment in the mail. Now, that can lead to no activity. And if you are a person that has a retail credit card or a department store credit card, those usually turn off and cancel if you haven't had any activity in a certain amount of time. Now, that amount of time can be 6 months, it can be a year, it could be more than a year. I don't know the time frames on each and every individual store card or retail card, but of course you want to check with them to find that out. But if you pay off your balance, that would mean that you would at some point have to go and make another purchase. And of course, when you in the store making another purchase, that could lead to you spending more money than you need to. So that is what would happen in regards to paying off the account balance and having a zero balance, especially if you have one of those cards that need activity in order to stay open. Now, what if you just make the regular monthly payments on whatever balance you have? So with that, it will take some more time to get the balance down. So you always want to make more than the minimal payment, because that minimal payment isn't going to help you fight the interest that they're going to be adding on every month on top of that balance that you have. So of course you want to pay more than the minimal payment if you're going to pay that. Now, doing it this way, you will actually pay more money in interest. It won't affect your credit score at all, just the way that you're paying it. But again, it can be more money that you would pay in interest versus paying off the balance and not having to have interest added to that balance every month. But the real important part that you want to be worried about in regards to using the credit card the best way to increase your credit score is you want to make sure that your balance is always low. Ideally under 10% of the credit limit, and at least make sure that you don't go past 30% of the credit limit. Now, the reason for this is the higher you get on that balance percentage to the credit limit, the more dramatically they start dropping your score. So you want to avoid that as much as possible and make sure that you are always seeing the maximum potential out of any credit card accounts you have reporting on your credit report. Now, another thing I'll throw in there, if you didn't catch it already, is that you don't want your credit cards to close. anytime you close a credit card, it can dramatically drop your score because all the benefit that you are getting from that utilization area, you will all of a sudden lose all of those points that you were getting. So keep your accounts, your credit cards open, because that is the way to maximize how many points you're getting from that account. And last but not least, when you're using a credit card, what should you actually, be spending your money on? And if this isn't a card that's tied to a particular department store or some type of shopping site, then you can use your card anywhere. So what should you do to make sure that you don't get in debt while you're trying to use your credit to build up your credit? Now for this, I usually recommend that you only use it for things that you would already spend your cash on. That way you're not spending extra things or putting extra debt on yourself that you didn't really need. If you use it for things like food, going out to eat, gas, or really small bills, if you have a smaller credit limit, that will help you in order to keep your balance low. You will know that you'll have the money to pay off whatever you need to pay off, because this is stuff that you would have already spent your cash on anyway. And again, this keeps you out of debt, keeps you building up your credit, and keeps you in a better credit and financial state. And I'm going to throw in one more piece of information that will help you in keeping your credit utilization low. And this is no matter how much you actually spend on the balance. The first thing you need to do is contact your credit card holder or whoever the revolving credit account is for, and find out on what date do they actually report the balance to the credit bureaus. Once you find out that date, you'll know that, okay, as long as I pay off my entire balance or get my balance paid down under 10% by this date, then it will be reported to my credit report as such. And even though I may have had the card maxed out all of this time before, as long as I pay it on this date, I will make sure that the way that it hits my credit report is in a good light, so my credit score actually never gets affected. Now this is a very useful tip and trick that will help you in regards to keeping your utilization low no matter how much you spend on that credit card or revolving line of credit, and it will help keep your score maximized and make sure you're always getting the most points for that account. Now I hope this information was helpful and useful to you. I thank you guys again for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time.